Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we've got a Prince of Swords. This is a fixed air energy. You're somebody who sticks to your guns. You're somebody who has, you have beliefs and you have opinions about things, and that's it. And you're usually right. But this kind of sometimes will show that there's a little bit of an intellectual stubbornness in you. Yeah. That it takes a lot for you to sort of change your mind about things, especially if it's something that you're familiar with and that you like and you enjoy, and you have already you've already done the research and you've come to your own conclusions. We're not easily convinced. You're not a gullible person by any means. You're not a very changeable person, okay? You have some fixed ideas about life, okay? And these, they can serve you very well. Sometimes this card is suggesting that we get open to some other possibilities, that we're open to change. Sometimes this is a card that says we need to be a little bit more flexible and open to new ideas. Okay? But let's see what's going on here. I feel like you're the kind of person that likes things their way, you know? Like the way that you're washing the dishes, you know, that's the way it's done. And you don't want anybody coming in and telling you, oh, you should wash the dishes a different way. That's not a good way to wash the dishes. Nobody wants to hear that, you know. You found the way that works for you, and it's going to take a lot. Someone's going to have to really show you something that is pretty significant to get you to change the way that you are doing things. When you find something that works, that's it. You stick with it, okay? Let's put this card into a little bit of context and see what's happening in your life right now. You got a Princess of Pentacles. You've got the Chariot, an Ace of Pentacles, a Three of Pentacles, and, the Empress. Oh, yeah, I think this is good. I think that the way you're doing things is working, and you need to keep working it, because it's going to lead the Princess of Pentacles transforms into the Empress. So it's kind of like saying, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. The way you're washing the dishes, your dishes are going to be amazing, you know? And apply this to everything else in your life too. And it's not saying that your way is always right, but we know that it usually is, right? But this is saying that the method that you've discovered, the technique you're using, the understanding that you have is right on the money right now. So don't let anybody convince you to try something new or something different. Different is not always better. New is not always better. Sometimes the tried and true methods are really the way to go. Okay, you don't need some fancy new doohickey to do it. The way you've been doing it is working. And to me, it feels as if we don't much need the change right now. We've got a Two of Cups, Four of Cups, Two of Wands, and the Emperor energy. Yeah, you are definitely the Emperor of your life here. And I think this is really good. I think this is a revelation that's saying what you're doing now is working. Don't let anybody tell you not to do it. Somebody may be trying to guilt you into changing your ways, or gaslighting you, or somehow almost like insulting you, almost telling you that you're somehow wrong for not being willing to change your ways right now. Don't let them do this. Be the emperor. Be the authority of your own life. Okay? The way you become the emperor is by Well, I mean, we should be flexible. We should always be open to listening to other people, but not when they're trying to appeal to you emotionally, because this isn't a good argument. This is a kind of a fallacious argument, right? Trying to convince you through some emotional means to change what you're doing. No. That's not convincing me. By telling me I'm a bad person or something, that's not giving me a good reason to sort of change the way I'm doing something. Okay? Whether they're right or wrong, that's not a valid argument, you know. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown, and let's just set that down over here with Bubo the mechanical owl right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Let's use our intuition. Okay, now as we look around the room, 2 majors, 3 majors, okay? The Emperor and the Chariot, and of course, the best life, the Big Rock Candy Mountain, the perfect success of whatever you're doing. The transformation, whatever you're investing in right now, whatever you're putting your resources, putting your mind and your body into, your heart and soul into, is going to transform into the best thing that it can be. Whatever this is becoming the best version of itself, right? Maybe this is investment in yourself. Maybe this is your own, your own health and fitness routine. You're becoming the best version of yourself. Maybe this is your business. You see, whatever this might be, this is the investment. This is what you're working with, and this is what it's going to become. You need to not ignore this. You need to trust this, because there will be people in your life that are trying to almost shame you, it feels like, into changing something that you're doing, but you change it now, and this may fade away. This may not be there. So it's Spirit's way of saying, don't change what you're doing now. Of course, we need to be flexible. We need to be open. We need to be good listeners. We need to be polite and respectful of others. And we do need to be, we need to have a willingness, and that's really the essence of this card. There's a fixed air energy, but there's a willingness to listen. We're not going to be changeable. We're not saying that, oh, any small breeze and suddenly I'm off in a new direction. No, I'm going to do things my way, but I'm willing to listen to what your way is. And if I find that it was going to work for me, and if I choose to incorporate that, I will, but I don't have to. So I'm washing the dishes my way. I found a system that works. My dishes look beautiful. I think everything is fine. You come in and say, hey, I got this fancy new soap, or like, look, watch this sponge that I use. Watch how I do it. And I say, okay, that's good for you. I'm glad you're doing it that way. I'm going to do it my way. Okay? I was willing to look and see what you're doing, but I'm not choosing to do that for myself. Okay? You have that right and that authority. Okay? Not just about the dishes, but about your whole life. Okay? And I think we see a lot of cards that are sort of indicating that. Okay? Especially the fire energy up here with the Two of Wands and the Emperor. We've got water down here. We've got just a little bit of air in the middle, and that air is, again, it's a mind that is saying, this is my method, this is my protocol. I'm open to new ideas, but I don't have to change my ways just because somebody is telling me to, or trying to use this emotional tactic, okay? Using this emotional tactic in order to get me to change my ways, okay? I don't think it's intentionally sabotage or anything like this. I feel as if somebody just kind of thinks that they know better, all right? And so we kind of see that here with a little bit of this conflict. And I don't know if this is like it's kind of like your mother-in-law comes over and says, well, you should be doing something different. You should be washing the dishes a different way, or taking care of the kids a different way, or running your business a different way, or, you should use this tool instead of that tool. And it's not really appropriate, right? It's not their place. We see well, we see quite a bit of the earth energy here, right? And this is the Three of Pentacles. Let's just start with that. What you're doing is working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is one of those scenarios. Even if somebody comes in and tries to manipulate your emotions, doesn't take away the fact that what you're doing is working. Should you be open to different ideas that may help you do it better or faster or more efficiently or, yeah, of course. But you don't have to use somebody else's method just because they think they know better or they're older than you or they're in some position of authority or whatever. If the way you're doing it is working in your life, keep doing it that way. Okay. And the Three of Pentacles, of course, is that card that says things are working. This is you understanding how things work. I feel like you have a functional knowledge. Your way of doing things may not be the same as everybody else's. Maybe a little quirky. That's okay. In fact, it's even better that it is, right? It shows that you have developed something in yourself, and maybe you've kind of reinvented the wheel a little bit more than you needed to, but que sera, sera, right? If it's working, keep doing it. Okay. What we're going to need, though, is this kind of fortification, because I feel like you are a sensitive person, and I feel like you, in some ways, you do care what people think. But we put on this armor. We put on this emotional protection that says, I'm not going to let what other people think get to me. I'm going to choose to be fortified against what other people are sort of saying or thinking or trying to get me to feel. Okay? This is a card of discipline. This is a card of being sort of determined and disciplined and loyal. Yeah. And this is kind of an internal state for you. You feel very protective of something right now, right? I feel like you fully believe in yourself, and you're trying to keep any kind of negative energies away. Yeah, you're very, very protective of something right now, and maybe you're feeling more sensitive than usual. Okay, and so to me, this is a card that, again, is kind of saying, keep going the way you're going. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let anybody try to tell you that it's not working or that it's not right or that you should do something else. Okay? So when we're in the chariot and we're driving down the road we're on, we have our walls up a little bit. Okay? Sometimes we need to. Yeah. Sometimes we need to have the walls up because I don't know who it is in your life, but it could just be just general people. I don't know if there's anyone specifically, but there's something that we're worried about coming in and trying to change the way we do things. It's almost like we don't want to have a roommate. We don't want to have anybody stay over because they're going to want to do things their way, but I'm kind of set in my ways. I like the way I do things, and I want to keep doing things my way. So I don't know if you have a house guest or an in-law or a friend that's staying over or something like this. Or if it's even and maybe it's an idea of you're going to live with somebody. Maybe you have a relationship and you're thinking about moving in with somebody. And we're kind of dealing with this issue where it's like, you're going to want to keep doing things your way. They're going to want you to do something different. And are we willing to compromise? Is this an oh no, right? The Two of Wands. Is this going to be an issue that is going to really kind of break the deal for you? Okay. The Ace of Pentacles in the background, that's, I think, a long history of doing things on your own, doing things a particular way. I feel like a lot of what you've established in your life is something that you've had to figure out. So again, kind of reinventing the wheel a little bit more than we needed to. But you've not so much reinvented the wheel, but you figured out what kind of wheel works for you. And then someone comes and says, well, you should put different tires on that car. And you're just kind of like, you're almost like mad, How dare you say that? Because it took you a lot of time to figure out what wheels work for you. Okay? And so I feel that there is a resistance right now to any kind of change. There's a resistance to any kind of outside energy trying to get you to change direction or change course or change your technique about something. Okay, about your life, really, right? Spirit's showing me something on your nightstand. It's something white. It's like, I don't know if it's a statue or a candle or some kind of a, I don't think it's not like a pot. It's not a plant or anything. It's a sculpture or a statue or a candle, or it's something white on your nightstand. Maybe it's part of the lamp. Yeah, Spirit's kind of referencing that. I feel like generally in your life, especially with the Princess of Pentacles, you've built your life up into a way that you prefer. You like the life that you have. You like the things in your life. You like the environment that you're in. You like your house. You like the decorations. You like your furniture. And you don't want to have to change any of that for anybody. Okay? So I feel like that's kind of a big force in your life right now, is this kind of the establishment. It took me a long time to decorate my house the way I like it, and I don't want to change it. I feel like maybe you live alone and you kind of like it that way. Yeah. The Princess of Pentacles is, to me, a commitment to building something up. It's kind of like you have your projects, you have your garden, you have your house, you have your life, yourself, and your existence, right? And you're trying to build it up in a way that is appropriate for you. And I don't feel like you want any outside input, because what you're doing is you're becoming the Empress. You have a vision for what you want your life to be. This is your big rock candy mountain. This is your luxurious life. This is your paradise, your Garden of Eden. It's going to be different than mine. It's going to be different than anybody's. It's uniquely yours. And I feel like you like that. You know that, and that's what you want. You want your life to be an expression of you and who you are. And the things that you've been through, the things that you've done, the things that mean something to you. So how do we share that with other people? Because as we move to the path of the serpent, we see a Two of Cups. Okay? We see a Two of Cups. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. Two of Cups is love, you know? And in a way, I wonder, what is it that you love? This is self-love, divine love. It could be platonic love. It could be romantic love, okay? And it's almost asking the question, what would have to happen for you to kind of change the way you do things? You know, I feel like you'd have to really, really, really love somebody if you're going to let them come in and change your life in little ways, change the way things are done in your life. So I don't know if this card is saying that you're kind of at this weird crossroads where it's like you like the independent kind of solo life that you have, but then yet you're also falling in love with someone or something. And you know that it's going to have to be a compromise. You know that there's going to have to be some sort of change. But we're not really interested in that part of it. And so it might be that we're in a little bit of a sticky spot. And that's kind of confirmed with our Four of Cups as well. Sometimes this is a heart that's kind of not willing to change. And it may be that we like this life so much that, and we love our life, we love ourselves so much that anything else, this relationship, is not enough to get you to compromise who you are and what you've built and where you're going and what you're growing. Doesn't mean you can't have this love, doesn't mean you can't have this relationship, but I think there's a line in the sand. You know, there's a line being drawn that says you don't cross this line, you don't cross the line. You know, that you're not inviting somebody to come in and rearrange your life. Okay? I think you want to live life on your own terms. Yeah? You have a really, really kind of fierce independence that I'm feeling in you right now. And does this person play guitar? If the other person in your life, do they play guitar? I feel like they're a musician of some kind, or they play some kind of a stringed instrument. Yeah. I wonder how much of this is about how you grew up. I feel like there were a lot of rules in your house when you grew up. And those kind of rules now are like, you're kind of taking on the position of like the ruler. Like when you were a kid, you had to live under somebody else's rules. Now, this is my house, my rules. Okay? And no one's going to change my rules. No one's going to, that this is my turn now to be like the authority, the emperor, right? But the Four of Cups is interesting because it kind of feels like we're resistant. We're closed off. We're hardening our heart a little bit. And if this relationship is going to cross that line, you're kind of like fortifying yourself to say, I don't need the relationship. Whether it's a friend or a family member or a lover, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like you cross the line, you cross the line. And, it means the most to you. This is what you want to preserve. And it's not just about how you do the dishes. This is about just how you live your life. Your routines, your habits, your interests, your lifestyle. What you're trying to build, what you're trying to create for your life. It could be a career. It could be your art. You don't want anybody to come in, even if it's someone that you love very much. You don't want anybody to come in and suddenly you're not really doing the art anymore. It's sort of changing that. Or the career, or someone comes and it's sort of interfering with your career goals. You're not willing to put up with that. Okay? Because the Two of Wands is also telling me that you're willing to sort of defend that. You don't want conflict, but that's just it. You don't want somebody else with a will coming in and challenging your will. Okay? Two of Wands is sort of two equal personalities that are trying to battle it out. So it feels like there is this kind of, that's what we don't want. We don't want this conflict. We don't want to have to push back against somebody that's trying to push in. And so I feel like we'd rather not do it. And so it would have to be really the perfect thing for you to allow somebody to sort of come in. Maybe you'd have to be very similar. Maybe this person would have to have very similar goals to you or have to have a very similar lifestyle in order for there to be compatibility. Okay? Yeah, I feel like you do not want to lose your independence. And you definitely don't want this kind of energy coming in and telling you that you got to do something with this. You got to change this around. I feel like that really makes you mad. Okay. Now you have a cat though, and that cat's been acting strangely lately, right? And also you have some kind of a weird way that you organize groceries, or there's some kind of, I don't know if there's like a system to your groceries, or the way you put them away, or the way you the way you unpack them or something. There's something like very specific about the groceries for you. Yeah. It's all your prerogative. The emperor is the authority. And I feel like you are the emperor of your life. You are the one who is in charge. You're the one who is sort of putting in the effort and setting the sort of rules and establishing certain procedures, and you like that. And it's not easy for you to shift out of that. I think that sometimes we get upset when things aren't going according to our method, our protocol. Okay? We don't like that. We have things we do a specific way, and when things don't go that way, I get upset. That we have a schedule for our day. When something interrupts that, it doesn't feel good. Okay? And I think that this is, I feel like it's comfortable for you. I feel like you like being in this realm that you've created for yourself. Yeah. I want to look at the mystery card. I want to see what this is going to reveal to us. Because I am kind of feeling that there is some relationship in your life that is sort of challenging this a little bit. And so I feel like we're kind of at like a weird crossroads or like a weird threshold. So I'm expecting this to be a doorway card. Okay? Could be the moon, could be the Eon Judgment card, could be the Wheel of Fortune. It's going to be a card of change. I believe it. Yeah. If you have a prediction, put this in the comments. And it's a card of change. I can feel it. Let's see what we've got. This card, it's a 9 of Wands. Not necessarily a card of change, but it is a card of resilience. So it does kind of feel like this is the aftermath of a battle. Okay? So more than it being a relationship, a romantic relationship, I feel like it's somebody like a friend or a family member or somebody staying at your house or something. It's like a temporary visitor, but it feels like you've been through a war zone. It feels like it's been very challenging. And it could be a particular relationship with a family member. Maybe they're not staying with you, but it feels like they're sort of imposing on you a little bit. This is a card of strength. This is the card of you saying that even if it hurts, you're going to defend this thing. You're going to defend this life that you have. You're not letting anybody come in and mess with it. And so this is not a card of change. I feel like this was an attempt. This was an attempt to change, but you survived. You were resilient enough to withstand the attempt, to withstand this sort of energetic assault on your lifestyle, and successfully defend your realm. Yeah. Very interesting here. We're going to do an extended reading. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There is a link up top and there's a link down below. Because this is a bonus reading for you, Virgo, we're just going to go straight into the extended reading. So don't change the channel. There is the link up there if you decide you want to join the channel, and then you can get the extended readings for all the readings, for every sign. Okay? This is just just a free bonus for everybody to just sort of check out how we do the extendeds. Okay. New readings for Virgo are usually on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to set your alarm and be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together. Oh, you're still here. Great. We're going to do the extended reading. We're going to consult the I Ching first. We're going to do some oracle cards and some tarot cards. Now, what we do is we leave this stuff here so that we can see how the energy develops. We can see how things might interact and what energies may emerge and that sort of thing. Your hexagram today is hexagram 16. Hexagram 16 is an energy of enthusiasm. Now we're going to use the I Ching workbook by Roger Green. Hexagram 16, turned right to it. Enthusiasm and vitality, vigorous action, delight, and expression. This hexagram comprises thunder over earth, evoking the image of the first thunderstorms of summer. The crashing sound from the clouds banishes the tensions of a period of relative inactivity, and to the relief of all the earth begins to stir. Similarly, this describes the welling up and release of energy within us, whether self-generated or evoked by the animation and enthusiasm of a great motivator. Like the thunder, this effusive energy acts as the firing of a starting gun or a clarion's call to action. This exuberance is often accompanied and intensified by celebration, feasting, and music. Leaders, religious and secular, have relied upon these methods to raise the spirits of their people for as long as humanity has existed, ensuring that all share in the festivities and happiness. Such confidence and eagerness also inspire loyalty and diligence in supporters and staff. Such outpourings of giving and receiving, pleasure and satisfaction will bring together parties of all sides, clearing away obstacles to the realization of our joint aspirations. United in delight and devotion, the community will embark on great undertakings without fear. The only danger lies in a leader's exploitation of this enthusiasm for self-indulgent ends. I feel like this kind of vitality and enthusiasm is you living your life the way you want to. And so I feel like when we have this need for company or inviting somebody into our energy, it's kind of like they've got to just come in and be the guest. We're not inviting them in as an equal partner and saying, why don't you change what you want to change? You want to do something differently? Like, you go ahead and get creative, right? It's kind of like when you throw a party and you're inviting the guests over, the guests don't get to pick the music. The guests don't get to decide the food. The guests don't get to rearrange all your decorations. It's like, this is what I've set up. This is the party. If you want to be here, this is what we're doing, you know? And maybe that's it. Maybe you're creating something like that in your life generally. Maybe you're creating a party or some kind of a festival or some sort of activity. And you're going to do it your way. You're not inviting anybody else to come in and give their opinion. That's why it's kind of like, I feel like we're not open to those kinds of things. It's like, no, this is what I wanted to do. You're here as a guest, just enjoy it or leave, you know? And it feels kind of harsh, but sometimes that's the vibe. Someone comes in and says, oh, I can't believe you picked that color balloon or those color streamers, or like, why'd you get that cake? And it's just like, okay, get out of here. You know, I feel like there's zero tolerance for that kind of interference or that kind of a conflict energy, right? And that makes sense to me. But let's do an angel number as a mystery card. We're going to do an oracle of empowerment. The new birth. I am ushering in new life. I am open to what is being born in and through me. Something beautiful is on the horizon. I cooperate with the universe to bring light and life into the world. Well, that's a very personal thing, right? And that is this. You're bringing the new birth. The Princess of Pentacles is the one that is ushering in the new birth. And now this is like a maternal energy. It's saying, you're taking care of this. Okay? This is something that you birthed into the world, and you are its mother. It's not gender specific. Okay? But that's the idea. That's the metaphor. That's the energy. It's like you're raising your kid the way that you decide is appropriate and healthy and responsible. Somebody comes in and says, oh, I can't believe you're raising your kid that way. It's like, get out. Okay? Same thing with whatever you're giving birth to. This is like the big party. You're putting on a big festival. Somebody comes in and says, oh, I can't believe you picked that caterer. Get out. Okay? Because it's the same thing. This is your baby. It's nobody else's baby. I'm not inviting you to come in and criticize my parenting of this baby, whether it's literal or figurative or if it's just kind of general about life. Okay? And so I think if we look at it that way, we kind of understand what the energy is telling us. We're going to do an oracle of the radiant sun. The originality. Yeah, the originality. You've sort of reinvented the wheel a little bit. And through a lot of trial and error, you've figured out what works for you. And I really think that you're open to ideas and communication, but you're not open to criticism if it's kind of an emotionally charged, criticism, right? So the originality, I think, is very important because it took a lot of time to cultivate something the way you have it set up, or the way that you're operating your life, or running your business, or raising your kids, or doing your art, or whatever. It's like somebody comes in and tries to say that, oh, you're doing your art wrong, right? Yeah, maybe. I guess, like, if you think of, like, techniques and stuff, I guess there's a wrong way to do it. But for somebody to say that to you is kind of, it's offensive almost. I mean, not even almost, like it is offensive. So I kind of feel that's like a you're out of here kind of energy. Yeah. And again, it doesn't really matter what this is. It could be your art, it could be your business, and there are right and wrong ways to do it. So we have to be open to communication. But if somebody is just like, oh, I can't believe you're doing it that way, that's not constructive. That's offensive, and I feel like that is like a get out of here kind of energy. Especially if this is like literally about your family or your kids or something like this. If it's literally about your baby, well, yeah, we want to be open to people that might have useful information for us, but we're not open to just people straight up criticizing how we're doing it, you know? Anyway, and that's a sensitive subject. We're going to do a creativity oracle card. Confidence. Know and feel this affirmation beyond a doubt. I am all that I need to get what I want. In other words, you are perfectly capable of doing this on your own. You don't need anybody to come in and save you. You don't need anybody to come in, and maybe they're not even coming in with a criticizing energy. Maybe they're coming in saying, oh, you poor thing, let me help you. Get out, right? Because it sort of undermines your power, it undermines your strength, and it undermines your authority. And we don't want to be undermined right now, right? And so that feels like it could be coming in very subtle ways. It could be somebody that's coming in, oh, let me help you, let me show you how to do that. And that's very condescending, and it undermines your authority. Your authority is paramount. We don't want that to be undermined, right? Let's do an Oracle of Metatron. Leadership. Answer the call. You are being called upon, definitely, to live your life in your way. Okay? To create your Empress life, to create your Big Rock Candy Mountain how you want it to be. You're not building somebody else's town, the Big Rock Candy Mountain, right? You're not building somebody else's town according to their plans. No, this is your life. You've got to build it the way you want. Your aesthetic, your vibe, your frequency, your interests, your hobbies, your loves, your art, your decor, your furniture, your friends, the way you want it to be. And I feel like we're not allowing anything to undermine that. Yeah. Path of the Serpent, we're going to use the Chinese Tarot. The Seven of Swords, there's the criticism. There is that criticism. And the Hermit. Yep, we're sort of sealing our heart away. We're just saying bye. Bye, Felicia. The Hermit is not putting up with any of that, is willing to turn its back on anything if it's undermining your authority or your right to construct your life the way you want to, or run your business, or do your art, or raise your family, or whatever it is. The way you're washing the car, or washing the dishes, it doesn't matter. The Hermit is able to say, that's it, I'm out of here. I'm not going to put up with that. Yeah. Because you have enough confidence in yourself to know that your way of doing things is good. Like, you trust yourself enough. You have confidence in your own authority. You're still open to advice, of course. I mean, if you have problems, you're going to ask for help, etc. And you're willing to go through the constructive criticism, but not the undermining criticism, not the undermining of our authority. Six of Coins here is success. And I think the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. If something is working, then it's working, right? There's always maybe a better way to do it, or a different way to do it, or a new way to do it, but that's not always better, right? So the Six of Coins is kind of like you're going to defend your sovereignty in this situation, okay? And you're right for doing so. Now, the Emperor, finally at the end, we have the Three of Wands, the Three of Staves. The Emperor has their virtue. And that virtue is kind of like saying, I know I'm doing the right thing. And if you have to kick somebody out of your life, or you have to tell them, hit the door, 86, see you later, you're right for doing so. And that Three of Wands is your virtue, that you have confidence in yourself. We have confidence here. Confidence. That you're doing the right thing. And confidence is not just rejecting everything, but it's letting in new information. You want to learn, you want to be flexible, you want to explore, you want to read and research and all this stuff, but you're not putting up with the nonsense. You're not putting up with somebody emotionally manipulating you or trying to undermine your authority. Because you believe in yourself and you know that what you're doing is right. And if you have to kick somebody out of your life, it's because it's the right thing to do. Let's look at the mystery card here. We've got angel number 0110, your own belief system. Go after what you want. You have a unique destiny, inspiration, talents, gifts, appreciation, and gratitude. You're blessed with talents and skills that make it easy for you to stand out from the crowd. Embrace what makes you different. That's your path to success. Your dreams will come true. Embrace what makes you different. Don't let somebody come in and try to make you like them or make you like somebody else or say, oh, there's a better way to do that. You're doing it your own unique way. I think that's right on point. Now, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you, Virgo, greatly. I love you deeply, and I hope to see you again very soon.